Hello everybody, this is Thomas from Denmark with a video in my series on traditional wet shaving. In this video I'm gonna do a review and also a shave with the Feather All Stainless from Japan. There's been a lot of talk about this razor on forums, and when I saw a picture of that razor I just knew I had to have it. So luckily I have a very nice mother, and she gave me one for my birthday, which was about a month ago. So I'm very happy with the razor. And here's another treat for you guys. This is my XXL shaving mug from Schwarz und Weiß Ceramics in Germany, that I just received yesterday. And my God, what a mug! Man, to me that is like the mother of all mugs. Oh man, I put boiling water in it, and that is actually a little bit too warm. Maybe I should have just used warm water from the tap, but I wanted to see how hot it could actually get, and also I'm curious on how long it will preserve the water. Anyway, that's another story. I will be doing a review video on that scuttle. Talking about the Feather All Stainless, here's a couple of facts. The razor weighs in at 90 grams. That's a bit on the heavy side, medium heavy side. In comparison, the Future also weighs in at 90 grams. And I consider that to be somewhat of a heavy razor. It's about the limit for me personally, as to how heavy a razor should be. I haven't tried shaving with anything heavier, but just by my experience so far, I feel I'm at the top of my limit there. I mean, I can't really imagine shaving with such a razor as the Vision. I think that's big boy weighs in at what, 120 grams? But if I come across one day, I'll be sure to try it. Now, the weight distribution in the Feather is somewhat different from other razors. Razors like the Edwin Jaggers and Mühle and Truffin Hill, they have a weight distribution of 1.5, excuse me, meaning that the handle is 1.5 times heavier than the head. This is not the case with the Feather. The Feather, the handle is 2.5 times heavier than the head. So the head weighs in at 26 grams and the handle weighs in at 64 grams. This has a lot to say in the handling of the razor. I find it a little bit difficult, more difficult to handle a razor with a heavy handle, because you lose some of the feeling, so to say. I have it the same way with kitchen knives. I don't like kitchen knives with heavy handles because I feel the knife is doing the work and not me. As you can see, here it is. Let me do a close-up. The finish on it is beautiful. It's a real quality razor. The length of it is 10 centimeters, and I find this to be a very, very nice length. Has an excellent grip because of the pattern that's in the handle. Really sits well in your hand. But it has a heavy handle, and if you're not used to that, that will surprise you. There's only one thing about the design that I don't like personally, and that's the logo that they put on there. I really don't think that fits there, but yeah, you know, it's there, so what are you gonna do? It's a 3-piece razor. You take the handle apart, and the head consists of 2 parts. Again, let me do a close-up. I apologize, guys. I'm doing something wrong here. There we go. Now you see there are 4 corners here on the bottom part of the head. These 4 corners matches the 4 corners on the top part of the head. Now this ensures that the blade is kept very tightly in place. Let me just put on a brand new feather blade here to show you. When the blade sits very tightly in the razor, there is not a whole lot of feedback, because most feedback comes from the blade bouncing. Maybe you remember when you were a kid and you had a bicycle, you could put a playing card on the back wheel, and the bicycle would sound like a motorcycle. Well, it's kind of the same thing that happens when you shave. The blade bounces off the hairs. This bounce makes a sound, and also the vibration from the blade travels down the razor into your fingers. That's feedback. Feedback in your fingers and feedback in your ears. This blade sits extremely tight in the razor, thus not giving it a whole lot of space to bounce in. So the feedback is very little on this razor. That makes it quite difficult to shave with. Also, the shaving angle is different. Most razors have about a 30-degree angle. The feather has a higher angle at about 45 degrees, and it can take some time finding that angle. Of course, there is some sound. It's not silent altogether. There is a sound of the hairs being cut off, but there is not a whole lot of feedback in the fingers. The first shave I did with this was not very good at all, but rather than being disappointed, I thought to myself, well, let me just welcome the challenge. I would not recommend this razor to beginners for a number of reasons. First of all, because it's difficult to shave with. My concern would be that beginners would get discouraged from using this razor and think to themselves, well, DE razors, that's just crap, I can't get a decent shave, and I bought the most expensive one, the second most expensive one. Also, you don't really, well, you know, you can if you want to, but when you start shaving, you want to see if you're into this whole kind of stuff. And maybe it's not in your best interest to go out and buy one of the most expensive razors on the market. You'd probably be better off with an Edward Jagger or a Mühle or some other razors. Those are very easy to use. So what's so special about the feather? Why is it so expensive, and why do people talk so much about it, and why do some people use that much money? When I say much money, I'm talking about 180 to 200 American dollars for the razor alone, without the stand. Well, will it give you a much better shave than traditional Gillettes or Edward Jaggers or whatever? No, it won't. You can get just as good a shave with a much cheaper razor. But the thing about this razor is luxury. There's something about owning a quality product and having a hobby, and having something that's the top of the line equipment within that hobby. The quality of the razor is outstanding, and the design is flawless. I mean, everything sits right tight in place. I mean, you can probably measure several models and they will look exactly the same, down to maybe 1/10 of a millimeter, I'm sure. Because of the material being all stainless, the razor will last for a very long time. I mean, if you treat it right, this will outlive you, and you can pass it on to, you know, your kids, who can pass them on to their kids and their kids and their kids, and this could go on for a couple of 100 years at least. You can hear that I'm starting to get the hang of it a little bit. It does make sound, but you have to hit it exactly right. And this is not a razor that I use if I'm in a little bit of a hurry. I rarely shave when I'm in a hurry anyways, but when I'm using this razor I really need to take my time. Now, there are a couple of traps that you can fall into with this razor. Because of the very little feedback that it gives, you might press harder with the razor in order to get a closer shave because you will feel that it's necessary, but don't. Even though this razor doesn't come off, it doesn't feel very aggressive, but it actually cuts a lot of hair and at the right angle, and if you press hard with it, you will get a lot of razor burn. So be patient, take your time, get to know the razor. And only get this razor if you really want what's equivalent to the Rolls-Royce of razors. I mean, once you get to your destination, which is the close shave, I mean, some people won't feel that it has mattered whether they used a bicycle or a Rolls-Royce. Some people will feel that it has mattered. So, you know, that's all up for you to decide. Well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I'm going to finish up. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's a very nice shave. I mean, I'm going to do a couple of touch-ups, and then I'm going to do my head. A quality product for the Feinschmecker is the Feather All Stainless DE. And if you really like quality and you want a superb product, this is the razor for you. If you're a beginner and getting into DE razor shaving, this is not the razor for you yet, but it might be later on. This was Thomas from Denmark, and I hope you enjoyed the video. You are always welcome to post any comments you like. Thank you.